Hi everybody, I hope you're okay, taking good care of yourself. I wanted to share a couple perspectives that came to mind, some analogies that I hope will be helpful in this tumultuous time. The first is that I want to acknowledge, many of you might be waking up just now, the fact that we live in essentially the book 1984, where everything is backward and upside down. So war is peace, debt is money, disaster is opportunity, the good guys are the bad guys. I happen to think it's been this way for thousands and thousands of years, at least as long as the colonialist projects of enslaving the world, and we're just continuing to do that with a little smoother war machine to back us up. So it's becoming more obvious now as we see the lack of support in the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, as we see land grabbing in Maui. But of course, this has happened in the Congo, in the Sudan, in Iraq, in Vietnam. We can go on and on, all the way back to all of our indigenous lands being taken over by what you could call vampire capitalism. I call it the destructive masculine sometimes. And we're reaching the late stage capitalism. We're reaching the end of empire, you could say, which is a good thing. It struck me that it's not unlike the end of the Grinch book or the end of the Grinch movie, in which the Grinch, who represents what you could call the destructive masculine or vampiric capitalism, the end of that film, he takes everything, right? He takes all the presents. He wants every resource being taken away from the Who's in Whoville, and he hoards them all. The Grinch is basically what you could call a narcissist, a capitalist, a sociopath, a psychopath. But all of those words don't really get to the root, which is what I believe to be a belief and then the feeling of being cut off. If you remember, it's his heart that explodes at the end, because it was feeling so small. He felt so cut off. So this was a man, a being who felt cut off from his own heart, cut off from society as he lived up in the mountains, cut off from Mother Earth, and cut off ultimately from Source, the divine mother, the divine father, his real source, oneness. And so that pain attempts to resolve itself, and it plays God, and it hoards, and it does all kinds of things in order to attempt to feel something, to get back to that sense of peace and oneness that he believes he's missing. He's not actually missing. This, I think, is what we all struggle with. We all have a bit of the Grinch in us, a sense of being cut off. But at the same time that there's all this destructiveness, there's all this waking up. There's all this constructiveness. There's all this movement of, you could say, Christ consciousness coming back, or Sophia consciousness coming back, knowing we are one. And so at the end of that movie, he takes everything. And if you remember, the Who's in Whoville come together, and they start ringing the bells, and they start singing together, and they hold one another's hands, and they welcome Christmas, which I think is like welcoming Christ consciousness. I'm a crier, as some of you know. So I think that's what's happening now. And I'm inviting you all to very literally ring the bells, to very literally come together, Rad agrees, to very literally hold each other's hands. I am working on what my friends and I are calling the Commons, which is basically a free library where all the ways to live according to natural law, according to our bodies, according to the earth, according to the old ways and the new ways. And so many people are doing this. They're coming together. That's happening in the mountains now. It's happening all over. And it's time for the empire to fall. But we have to not focus on the Grinch. We can't focus on Donald and Elon and Joe and Kamala. These are puppets. They're nothing more than that. They're the lost children, the lost boys of Peter Pan, and the lost boys of the movie, The Lost Boys. They're just part of the vampiric system that has been vampiric for a very, very long time. So the Grinch has been up on that mountaintop for a long time. We can't focus there. We have to focus on each other. And we have to wake up. We have to wake up from our own sense of separation. There's only one family. We are one family. The insanity of the Middle East is thinking that there's a difference between Jews and Palestinians. Netanyahu's just another lost boy. He's just another Grinch. That's all they are. That's all they are. And there's way, way more to come. There's going to be so much revealed of how many Grinches there are, how many people shut off from their hearts. There's going to be so much whistleblowing going on. It's going to be hard to take. The answer is to be the Who's in Whoville, to come together, to sing, to remind each other that we are together, that we are one. We are God, and we are especially Goddess. We are of the earth. We are of one another. So don't get distracted focusing on the Grinch. And then what I think happens is as we all come together, what happens? The Grinch's heart melts. And I don't know which Grinch heart melts first. I've been daring billionaires for months now to work with me. But they'll melt. They'll melt. But we have to stay there, stay together, join hands. Don't go into tribalism now. It's not the time. I love you all.